So if we haven't met, I'm Jennifer Elliott, and this is VinYin or Vinyasa and Yin. So the first half of our practice will be Vinyasa flow, and the second half will be Yin. And obviously we like to sprinkle in some of those poses throughout regardless, just to give you an idea. Today we're moving towards a big heart opener. And as we move towards a heart opener, I always recommend that you maintain compassion for your body as you practice. I don't know about you, but my energy is super low today. So when I was trying to practice this earlier, my body was just fighting me the whole way. Did not want to get into those big back bends. So listen to your body. I'll do the same, and we'll see where we end up. Compassion and no expectations. So with that said, let's get started. So if you have 2 blocks, grab your 2 blocks and get set up in a 2-block heart opener. If that's not for you, you can start flat on your back, or if you don't have props, cactus arms is a nice place to stay. So set your elbows down next to the medium block. Lift and expand your chest. You're just trying to set your upper back on those sideways blocks. Pardon me, second block under your head. The arms are out to the sides, palms open. The knees can just be bent if that's okay for you. Take a few moments just getting settled into this space. The jaw unhinge. And the tongue just softens in the mouth. As the eyes close, see if you can take your inward gaze and move it down towards the heart. So moving it away from the thinking mind and more into the feeling body. And take a couple of natural breaths and just feel your breastbone rise and fall in each breath. Maybe you set an intention here of maintaining that compassion for your body as you practice. And we'll take a nice big inhale through the nose. Open the mouth and let it out. Again, in through the nose. Open the mouth, let it out. One more, in through the nose. Hold. Sip a bit more breath in through the nose. Sip a bit more breath in. Open the mouth and let it out. In through the nose. And out the nose. Great. So continue on your own. Just nice gentle breathing. In the meantime, you can reach your arms overhead, maybe clasp elbows or interlace hands. I always encourage you yawn. So a couple moments here. And then switch it up. So we're going to clasp the other arm. And then as you release the arms, gently roll to your side. We're going to come off of these blocks. If you have blocks, keep one with you. If not, this could be a folded blanket, or you can just skip it all together. So take that block or blanket, whatever prop, between your thighs into a nice tabletop position. Arms out to the side, straight or cactus, whatever you'd like. Hug the inner thighs into the prop and start to gently rock side to side. And then eventually drop your knees all the way down to the left. So you're in a nice simple spinal twist. You can peel your left rib cage up off the mat a little bit, set it back down. And as we work into heart opening, it's really just opening through the upper back, the twists that are going to prepare us for our back bend. Remembering back bends are between the shoulder blades versus the lower back. Hug the thighs to your prop, come through center. Drop the knees to the right. Keep those knees pretty high to your chest. Peel the right shoulder blade up off the mat, set it back down. And again, the arms are straight, cactus, whatever you want. But breathe into the breast center. So take an inhale and feel the whole breastbone rise, and then exhale, let it settle. And then hug your thighs to your prop. Come back through center. And you can keep the block or the prop between your thighs. Find a nice tabletop position with the legs. So knees over hips. Flex the feet. Keep those legs parallel to each other and the floor. Interlace the hands under the head. Pick up the head like a sit-up. Take an inhale. Exhale. Curl your heart up. Navel to the spine. Inhale. Relax. Exhale. Curl it up. Inhale, relax. Continue on your own. Exhale. Press the stale air out. Inhale, lower, refill the lungs. So as you move into this, for me, it's really never about a sit-up. We're just linking breath and movement. Breath stops, movement stops. If you want to go slower, slow the breath down. 3 more. All right, drop your feet to the ground. Keep that prop between your thighs. Take your arms by your sides, grab the edges of the mat. So walk the shoulders underneath you. Peel the hips up into a nice mild bridge and just hug those inner thighs into your prop. Paint your spine down to the ground. Make sure you're just looking at the ceiling so there's no sensitivity in your neck. Hold on to the mat. Peel your hips up again. A nice little easy bridge. And paint it back down. All right. I like 3, so they'll do 1 more. Peel your hips up. Just keep holding the edges of the mat. No need to interlace the hands just yet. But as you're here, try to get the weight of the body in the back of the arms. Hug the inner thighs together. And already here, you're really trying to get into the backs of the thighs. So I'm not concerned how high the hips are getting, but I am trying to lengthen my tailbone to the back of the knees. I'm rooting through my heels and even slightly dragging the heels back towards the buttocks isometrically so I can really engage the back of the thigh. 2 more breaths. And slowly paint the spine down. You can remove that block or prop, windshield wiper the knees, and pull the knees into your chest. Rock yourself up to seated or however that makes sense for you. You can just cross comfortably at your ankles. I'm going to warm the spine. So crossing at the ankles, hands on your knees. Take an inhale, pull your chest forward, elbows in, drop your chin just a little bit. And then exhale, round back. Hold under the knees, tuck the tail and chin. Inhale, heart forward, elbows in, drop the chin a little bit as you lift the heart. And round. Okay, 1 more. Pull your chest forward. We'll sort of do a half round. As the chest pulls forward, walk the hands out in front of you. You can be onto the fingertips, the shoulder blades can draw down the back, and you can be as high as I am here, or you can melt all the way down to the floor. So whatever's feeling right for you. Couple breaths. All right, so go ahead and bring yourself up and just switch the cross of the ankles. So whichever ankle is in front, go ahead and switch it up. Take your hands on your knees, pull your chest forward, elbows in, drop your chin a little. Exhale, round. Inhale, heart forward, elbows in. Exhale, round it back. Inhale, forward, pull the chest through. Come up under the finger pads. Again, you can stay here or you can fold in deeper. And then go ahead and walk the hands back. All right, so you can put your blocks near the front of your mat if you have them. If you have a strap, put a loop in it. And our loop is going to be shoulder width. So shoulder head to shoulder head, or if you slide this just above the elbows, you can see the arms are nice and parallel. So if you have a strap, use it. If not, we can find ways to use our blocks or to skip it. So set that aside. Find your way to hands and knees. And just start moving through your cat-cow. So take your hands so the wrist creases are parallel to the front of the mat. Turn your hands up ever so slightly. Pull the chest forward on your inhale as you reach the tailbone back. And then exhale, round. Press into the palms, lift the navel in and up. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, round spine. 1 more. Inhale. Try to get the back bend between the shoulder blades. Lift the navel to the spine. Exhale, round, pull the belly in. Let's shift all the way back this time to child pose. Forehead down, walk the hands out in front of you. Get a nice spread through the fingers. Index fingers are essentially parallel to each other and maybe even ever so slightly turned out from that. Take an inhale, come high to your toes. And exhale, come all the way back to downward facing dog. As you let the head hang, pedal out the feet. Just start to get some movement here. Shift forward, find plank, top of your push-up. So rooting through your palms, try to isometrically pull the mat tight away from you. So can you pull those hands apart without really going anywhere? Lift your thighs from the inner thigh. Send your tailbone back as you lift your navel in and up and look forward. From plank or from your knees, tip forward and see how slow you can go to the floor. Even if you're on your knees, heart and hips come down at the exact same time. So find your way all the way down onto your belly. Point back through the toes. Hands are back behind the breastline. Take an inhale, lift your heart, elbows in, lift the navel, low cobra, and release. Inhale, lift your heart, elbows in, and release. Inhale, lift your heart, slide onto your forearms for Sphinx. Now we're just going to stay in Sphinx. I'm going to use my blocks just in case you don't have a strap and later you might want to makeshift something. I'm going to use these blocks in that way, but not mandatory. So I'm taking one block flat, one on its side, because that's shoulder width for me versus both of them flat. So I'm going to hold the blocks in between my palms. If you don't have props, you can just skip this part. And I'm going to slide those props between my forearms. So I'm really hugging into the forearms. And then I'm going to pronate and press those palms down. So again, if you have the blocks, you're really firming your inner arms into them. Later, we'll bring that up with the straps. If you don't have it, you can play with the blocks here. Really root through your palms. Press into the tops of the feet. Lift the navel in. Keep hugging those elbows into the blocks. And if you have blocks and you want to see if you're actually squeezing into them, try to lift the elbows an inch without dropping the blocks. So pick up the blocks with you if you happen to have them. And if not, just imagine what that experience would be, affirming those forearms towards the center line. And release. All right, firm the forearms in, root through the palms. Maybe pick up the elbows an inch, drop the shoulders, lift the navel. And release. Okay, one more. Press palms, firm forearms, feet root, elbows and navel lift, shoulders drop, and release. Okay, blocks back to the front of your mat if you had them. Press up through plank or table, and find your way to downward facing dog. This can always be table. Spread wide through your fingers, root through your hands, let the head hang. And just take your right leg and float it up to the height of the hip. Take an inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Press into the palms, drive the knee up to the chest. Inhale the leg back. Exhale, knee crosses to the left arm, but keep the weight even in the hands. Inhale back. Exhale, knee to nose. Step your foot next to your right thumb tip. Left hand can be on the floor or a flat block. Right arm reaches to the sky. Take a moment and a twist. See if you can lift the back leg just a little bit, but sink into the front hip. Then release the right hand down, drop the back knee down, pat it if you need. Inhale the arms, rise, Anjaneyasana. And then just turn the left palm behind you, set the hand on your shoulder blade, and use your right arm to draw that elbow back. Press into the top of the back foot, lift your pubic bone towards your belly button. And breathe. Sink into your hips a little bit so you get deeper of a stretch into that back thigh. Keep lifting up through the elbow tip so you feel like you're getting that back bend between the shoulder blades. Pull your frontal hip bones up. And then just take that left arm out, cross it over the right knee, palms together. Without leverage, just stay here. Lengthen your spine on inhale, and exhale, pull the navel in to gently twist. Couple breaths on your own. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Slowly return to center. Hands on the floor or props, hinge back, pick up the front toes, Urdhva Dhanurasana. You'll notice I have a good bend in my knee. And it's more about digging the heel into the mat, isometrically pulling it back. So I'm activating the muscle as I'm stretching it. The heart moves forward. Shift forward, step to plank, top of your push-up. Tip forward on the toes, lower halfway chaturanga, hold. 2 breaths. 1, 2, lower down. Inhale, lift the heart cobra, hug the elbows in like we did earlier. Some of you press into the palms and feet, up dog. Root through the palms, press to the feet. Try to get the back bend between the shoulder blades. Look straight ahead, especially if you're up. Downward facing dog, and breathe. Left leg lifts to the height of the hip. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale back. Exhale, cross. Move to that right arm, look forward. Inhale back. Exhale, knee to nose. Step your foot next to your left thumb tip. Right hand on the floor or block. Reach your left arm towards the sky. Find your breath. Lift the back thigh. Sink into the hips. Release the hand. Drop the back knee down. Pat it if you need. Inhale, arms rise, Anjaneyasana. Right palm turns behind you, set the hand on the shoulder blade, and use that left hand to guide the elbow back. So I'm always putting my hand right between the shoulder blades, like I could grab my shirt to lift it. You can sort of see guys do that where they'll pull the shirt up from there. So try to get your hand into that place, but almost as a reminder to take that part of your shoulder blades and move them in towards the breastbone. Lift your chest, not your chin. Pull the belly in. Good. How are you doing? Sink a little deeper into the hips, but keep lifting frontal hip bones. It's challenging to get that front part to lift. And then you can slowly unwind, twist to the left, elbow over the knee, palms press. Again, use your breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Couple breaths. Try to stabilize those legs. You notice I'm a little wobbly. You have to really hug those thighs together to feel stable. Unwind. Hands down, hinge back. Stretch the hamstrings, but activate them too. So dig the heel in. Keep that bend in the knee. Try to pull it back as you pull your chest forward. Shift forward, hands on the ground. Step to plank. Tip forward, lower halfway chaturanga, hold, hug those forearms in. Some of you scrub the toes back, flip over them into up dog, otherwise lower to the ground, take your back bend, shoulder heads back, belly in. Downward facing dog, 5 breaths. Let's just settle in here. Hands are shoulder width apart. Feet are hip width apart. Lift up out of your forearms as you root into the palms. Drive down into your heels as you lift up through the toes. Then come high to your toes. Bend your knees. Look forward, step or hop, top of the mat. Pull your chest forward. Shift out of the heels and forward. Root to rise, reach the arms to the sky. Palms press, navel in and up. And exhale, hands turn. Okay, how are you doing with that compassion for your body? I'm getting a little warmed up, so I'm feeling a little bit better about it myself. We'll see how it goes as we do. Okay, so Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salute A. So standing at the top of your mat, spin your inner thighs back. Grow tall, palms are open. Take an inhale, arms rise, palms press at the top. Exhale, forward fold, soften the knees on the way down. Inhale up halfway, chest forward. Exhale, step to plank. Tip forward, lower chaturanga, hold, 3 breaths. 1, 2, 3. Up dog or your back bend of choice, belly in. Downward facing dog. We're here 5 breaths. If you're very hyperflexible, you may feel your chest dropping too much towards the earth. So if that's you, even though we want the back bend between the shoulder blades, pull your front ribs up to your spine, lift the forearms away, and think more about lengthening the side waist. High to your toes, bend your knees, gaze forward, step or hop, top of the mat. Inhale up halfway, exhale, fold. Root to rise, reach the arms to the sky, palms press, navel in and up, and exhale, hands to heart. Okay, round 2, inhale, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Some of you exhale, jump chaturanga. Otherwise, just step plank and lower again. Press into your back bend. Down dog. When we move, we link our breath and our movement, and then when we find stillness, we deepen our breath. We have good opportunity here for a few more breaths. Step or hop, top of the mat. Come up halfway, chest forward, and fold. Root to rise, reach the arms to the sky. Palms press, navel in and up. And exhale, hands to heart. All right, we want to continue the warmth, so 3 rounds on your own. Surya. If you don't know them, just make them up. We meet in your 3rd down dog. When breath stops, movement stops. Find your moving meditation. You can jump or step back, whatever's making sense in your body. Remember that compassion. And each down dog is roughly 3 to 5 breaths. This can always be child's pose, so take care of you, maintain that compassion. You can always modify, or I don't even like the word modify because it seems like that doesn't mean it's a better pose, but you can take other versions of the poses to suit your needs. We have 1 more round. We meet in your next down dog. All right, so we meet in this down dog. Find your way there. You can even skip the vinyasa if you'd like. Couple of breaths. And then find your way to hands and knees. If you have those blocks, you can use them. If not, you can do this on the mat. Just takes a little bit more maneuvering. So I'm at shoulder width. I'm on the 2nd height of the block. And I'm going to take my forearms and I'm going to move to the back of my triceps. I'm going to move my elbows forward, palms together. I'm going to move the hips back and really start to drop the chest down. So trying to get that back bend between the shoulder blades again, palms in prayer. Maybe those thumbs can come between the shoulder blades, just reminding my body where I'd like to get a little bit of a heart opening. Be mindful for you, everyone's different depending on the thickness of the blocks you might have, or if you don't have props, you can do straight arms, Anahatasana. And gently come out and return to downward facing dog. From down dog, inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, step it next to the right thumb tip. Warrior one, inhale, rise. Open by adjusting your legs to warrior two. So warrior two, we always lengthen the stance from warrior one, and front heel should intersect the back arch. Sink into your lunge. The hips will slightly rotate to the bent knee to keep that knee so that it can point over the second toe. But it doesn't mean you can't lift that pelvis off the thigh, lengthen the side waist, and shift your torso towards the side. So shoulders are square to the side wall, but hips are not. Sink a little deeper, just get into those muscles. Inhale, reverse. And you can straighten the right leg for a moment, turn your right toes forward, and that top palm faces behind you, hand on the shoulder again. Just guide the elbow in, so you're sort of holding on to it. You can turn the right toes back and make sure the back toes are turned in some. Start to tip from that right hip, pulling it underneath. That left hip will shift a little forward. And then you're just going to hold on to the elbow tip and start to reach it towards the back of the room. Now, can you move the bottom right ribs out, top ribs back, so that you're squaring out the shoulders, and pull the navel in. Keep reaching with that right elbow. And then just start to take it into triangle. You might stay a little longer with the arms if you want to add little core stability and keep those arms elevated. Or you may feel like it makes more sense to just add your prop and move right into your triangle. So take a moment or two. We're not here long. Just do where you are. You do you, whatever is working for you. And then eventually top hand on your hip, look down, and step up slowly, Urdhva Dhanurasana. So move your prop, pick up the back leg to hip height, firm your standing thigh, and then start to bend your top knee and reach back for your ankle in Shavasana. Good. Press firmly the foot into the hand. Lift your frontal hip bones. Find your breath. Straighten the legs, step back, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale to the floor. Step into down dog. And you can take the right leg and just keep reaching it to the ceiling. This time, let the hip open. Bend your knee, push the foot behind you, maybe set the foot on the ground, and flip the dog. Bring it back around, downward facing dog. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, step it next to the left thumb tip. Inhale, rise, warrior one. Adjust the feet and the arms. Warrior two. Front heel intersects back arch. Again, front heel, back arch. Back toes turned in just a little bit. And square the chest. Lift up out of the left hip. Really try to fire that left thigh. Imagine this is that one leg of bridge where we really try to pull the heel back. Inhale, reverse the arms. You can straighten the front leg and turn the toes in. Set your top hand up, hand on the shoulder blade. Grab the elbow with the right hand, and then set your feet back up for triangle. Lengthen through the sideways. Kick the hips back, tip the right hip forward a little bit. Keep reaching with the elbow tip. How long can you get on that side? Take your top ribs back, bottom ribs out. Absorb the front ribs in. Add core if you'd like. Breathe. Find your triangle pose, Trikonasana. Top end on your hip, look at the ground, go slow. Urdhva Dhanurasana. Left hand moves forward about a foot. Pick up the back leg to hip height. And go slow, bending that top knee, reaching for the ankle. Maybe reach for that foot, Shavasana. Straighten the leg. Step back, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale to the floor. Find down dog, and you can just take that left leg straight up to the ceiling. Open up your hip, bend your knee, push your foot behind you. You can stay here or gently flip the dog. Set your foot down on the floor next to your right, lift your hips, and send that left arm forward. All right, bring it back over, downward facing dog. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, step it next to the right thumb tip. Now stay high on the back toes and come on up, crescent lunge. Bend your back knee generously, and I really like this because I like to be able to sink more into the front lunge. I tend to like crescent first versus warrior one because warrior one is such a hard pose for that back leg. So I'm consciously having us up on the back toes so we can square the hips, bend the back knee to get a real good stretch and lift up through the frontal hip bones so we can access that front thigh like we want. Continue to try to pull those hip bones up away from the thigh. And as you reach the arms up, lift from your breastbone. Get a little back bend here without overdoing it. Drop your chin. Sink in, find your breath. Hands to your heart, inhale. Exhale, twist to the right. Drive out through the back heel. Elbow over knee. Try not to use it as leverage. But inhale, pull your heart forward as much as you drive the heel back. Exhale, navel in. Use that to twist. Couple breaths. As you slowly unwind, hands on the floor or blocks, frame your front foot and just straighten your front leg by lifting up through the toes. The back heel does not need the ground, just depends on what's happening in your body. Step to plank. Now it's yogi's choice. Meter your energy. You can go right to down dog. You can add a set of push-ups or your vinyasa. Take a few breaths here. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, step it next to the left thumb tip. You're up on the back toes. Bend your back knee quite generously as you rise into crescent pose. And feel the difference. The more you press out through the back heel, the harder it is to keep this front knee bent, which is why warrior one is so hard. So sink into your lunge. Really work crescent. Peel those hip bones up off the thigh bone. How much space can you create here? Bend the back knee more to help you with that lift. Drive down. Lift your chest and arms. Lower your head and front ribs. Couple breaths. Hands to your heart, inhale. Exhale, twist left. Go slow, but important, press out through the back heel. You really want to straighten that back leg. Lengthen your spine, inhale. Exhale, twist. I'm finally getting warm. My muscles are finally starting to melt into this practice, so that's good. Slowly unwind. Hands down, frame your front foot. Pick up your front toes, fold in. Again, it's a wide pyramid. Don't worry so much about alignment. Pick up those front toes. Back heel doesn't need to ground. And then shift forward, step to plank. Yogi's choice. Vinyasa, set of push-ups or right to down dog. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, step your foot next to your right thumb tip. This time, don't drop the heel down, but boost the back foot forward so you can rise into warrior one. And now you'll see what I mean, this hard place to achieve warrior one. So I'm actually having to lengthen my stance in order to feel like I can really get a good bend in this front lunge. And it's challenging in order to keep that back heel rooted, my hips working towards square here. It's really hard to keep that bend in the front lunge. So I'm doing the best I can. See how you're doing. We're not going to be here too much longer. Couple of breaths. Straighten the front leg, hands on hips. Shorten your stance. Find your balance. See if you can square your hips towards the short side of your mat. Lift your chest, inhale. Exhale, fold. So take your blocks and just frame your front foot. I'm going to turn the other way just because I think it'll be easier for you to see me. But your right leg is forward. Your left leg is back. We're in Urdhva Dhanurasana. Hands on props or floor. Pull your chest forward. Left hand can move a little closer to the front foot. Right thumb in the right hip crease. Pin it back. Heart forward. Same work we've been doing. As you're lengthening here, pull the heart away. Start to rotate the right side of the ribs open. You can stay or maybe even lower that prop down. Maybe the arm comes up, but it's not the end all. Work more that length of the spine, moving the back ribs into the front body. All right, bring your hands down. You can just pop the back leg back so that you're in a lunge. Step to plank or down dog or add your vinyasa. And I'll turn around so it makes sense for you for side two. But we'll meet in down dog, however you get there. All right, last standing series. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it next to the left thumb tip. Take your back foot, consciously put the heel where the toes are, so it's up and over a little bit. Then rise, warrior one. Got that back heel rooted, which means that front knee is not going to want to bend. There's always this interesting sort of pulley system. Maybe something works really well for you. Maybe the front leg or back leg, but it's really hard to get them to work together. But that's our yoga. Cultivation of opposites is where we find our balance. Couple of breaths here. Okay, straighten the leg, hands on hips. Move the back foot in just a couple of inches. Square the hips to the short side of your mat. Lift your chest, inhale, and then exhale, fold. I have a little softness in the front knee just so I don't hyperextend. Hands are on blocks or floor, whatever you have available to you. And pull the chest forward. Length is always important in back bends and twists. Left thumb into the left hip crease, pin it back. Pull your chest forward. Now stay as you are, or slowly begin to revolve the ribs open to the left. If you're like me, the second side is my harder side. So if I really wanted to get that hand up, I'd end up throwing my hips off and losing my back foot. So I'm going to prioritize rooting the back heel, using my breath to lengthen and revolve, and just go wherever I am, which today is not really all that deep into this side, which is fine. Couple more breaths. Seal that back heel down. Pardon me. Okay. Unwind. Pop that back foot back. Take your last vinyasa, or however you'd like to meet in down dog. All right. Knees to the floor. Move your props out of your way a moment. So in a moment, we're going to move to face the wall if you have a wall. And that may not be what is available in your space, totally fine. So all of these things can be done without the wall, just on their own, or you just don't use the wall to kick up or do anything like that. But we're going to work our core first. So I have my strap. It's going to go just above my elbows. If you don't have a strap, maybe you're firming into the blocks like we did in the beginning, or you can just do it without. We just want to avoid our hands coming together. So we're going to be in Sphinx on our belly. And in this case, what I really like about the strap is I can already tell that my arms are trying to push into the strap. So I'm going to imagine I have that block between the forearms, and I'm going to squeeze my forearms into that block, imaginary block, and suddenly my strap got a little slack. So again, I'm lazy, pushing all the weight into the strap, and I'm going to firm those forearms into the center. My strap got a little slack. I'm going to keep that. If the palms down is too much for you, you can interlace hands. So I'm just going to do that to give myself a little change. So either flat palms or interlace, but firm those forearms in. Then tuck your toes under. Find plank on the forearms. Keep firming those forearms in. We're here 10 breaths, or at least my 10 count. Heart forward. If you come out early, dolphin's a really good pose. Find your breath. All right, I think that's 10. Walk your feet in, lift your hips up, dolphin. Root through the forearms, whether they're flat and parallel or interlaced like my hands. You're gonna lift up out of the shoulders. And then see if you're still okay here. Take one leg up without opening the hip. Bring the other leg up without opening up the hip. Just simple. And then come on down. Take child's pose or however you'd like to rest. Okay, so we're going to take this pose to the wall. If you're not doing the wall, you can just do this pose again. You can do that same dolphin. I'm just going to use the wall because I plan on kicking up and it'd be nice to have a little support. So move yourself if that makes sense for you. And if at any time this is not for you, legs up the wall, legs in the air, those are nice options. So I'm going to take that same strap over the forearms just to keep myself sort of contained at that shoulder width. I'm just going to go right into my dolphin with the forearm plank. A few inches away from the wall. I'm just going to really work on lifting up out of my shoulders, rooting through the hands. And then if this is okay for you, look up at the thumbs. Take one leg up halfway, try to keep the hips square, and just lightly kick to the wall. If you find the wall, bend your knees, place your feet on the wall like it's bridge. Squeeze the knees together, work your seat up towards your knees, lift out of your shoulders. You can kind of gaze up so you're not into the middle of the strap. If you want to straighten one leg, that's fine, but squeeze the knees together. Find your breath. You can switch legs. You feel like really squeezing those knees, maybe you take the feet up. And again, it depends on how you're feeling. Remember that compassion for your body as you practice. I'm going to do one more. See how you feel. I'm going to kick up with my not great leg. It's nice to do both sides. And then again, I just have us bending your knees so we can really work on lifting the hips, firming those forearms in, lifting the navel. Breathe. Ooh. And lowering down. Okay, are we warm yet? Okay. So coming out of that pose, if you have the wall space, we're going to move into King Arthur. Now, it's just really getting to specific stretches. So if you don't have the wall, if you want to line your belly and reach for your ankle, that's fine. I'm actually going to make this a yin pose, so I'm going to grab my timer on my phone so we have a nice time limit here. We'll say 2 minutes because that's a lot. So again, if doing this at the wall is not for you, not for your knee, not for your space, anything that reaches for the ankle and lengthens the front thigh is fine. Otherwise, you're going to take your right knee onto your blanket, shin up the wall. I'm using the other blocks to support me. Timer is going. And you can stay here, hands on thigh, or hands to the wall, either down by your sides or reaching up today really would help our practice. But again, we're here a little more than 90 seconds. You have plenty of time to get where you're going. This isn't for you. Take a pose that is. Target being the front of that back right thigh. I forgot, I usually like a little towel or something to put between my foot and the wall. So if you're feeling discomfort there, sometimes you can slide your mat up or a shirt back behind, or just line your belly, you can reach for your ankle. All right, we have 1 minute left. You may notice for me, it's so hard to get this front hip down to level the pelvis. Frontal hip bones come in and up, same work. Maybe those hands to the wall. And so yin poses are these deep stretched poses. We're here for a longer period of time. Now we still have sort of our peak back bend that we're getting towards, but stretching the front body makes those back bends much more successful. So just throwing in a yin pose first. All right, now in a moment when the timer goes off, we don't want that foot to go either direction. That can torque the knee. So in a moment, I'm going to do it sort of a little early. When you plan to leave this pose, you're going to lean forward. You're going to tuck the toes under on the wall, push directly into the toes and come up. And then that way there's no sort of twisting of the knee. Okay, so find side two. You know where we're going. So if this is not comfortable for you, it's not working, then line your belly, reach for your ankle, windshield wiper knees, anything that gets that front thigh. Maybe a dragon lunge out on your mat. And sides are different, so I often say this is not my best side or good side, and really not great adjectives, but you know what I mean. You always get to one side and you feel like, wow, why does this feel so much more limited? And so when you're in yin, you really can start to identify what are those differences. The longer you spend here, the more you can really investigate. We're nearly halfway through this pose. We can do it. All right. 5 breaths left. Now we've been working up to a big back bend. So back bends may or may not be for you, but if not, you can make them more a yin pose. Otherwise, same thing, tuck your toes under, push into the wall, come up, and then have a seat. Now I happen to have my props already available. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my strap around my legs like a skirt. Now you may not have the strap, you may not have this, but then you can at least sort of think about what I'm doing. And I'm going to use the wall just because I have one and it at least helps you to think about. I don't have much of a molding on my wall, so I'm just going to let the blocks stay flat so they don't fall. I'm going to have enough space that my head can go right between. I'm just doing bridge first. Some of you may prefer to do bridge supported on a block to make this more yin. So we'll do bridge and then maybe Urdhva Dhanurasana. So like when the strap is on the thighs, I'm going to squeeze on the arms, I'm going to squeeze my thighs together to make the strap slack. I'm going to lift my hips into bridge, try to squeeze the inner thighs in, and interlace the hands underneath. Couple of breaths here. I can feel my outer legs pressing into the strap. So it's a good way to think about hugging the inner thighs towards one another to find some space. Now, some of you might just support your bridge with a block and let this be your pose. Otherwise, lower the hips down. Take your fingertips towards your shoulders, and either heel of the hand or the whole hand on the block or floor. Elbows in. Curl your hips up to bridge. Keep those arms in. Press into the hands. Come just to the top of your head, not a lot of weight. Firm the arms in. Squeeze the thighs. And then press into the palms. Push your chest towards the wall if that's what you're doing. Urdhva Dhanurasana. Lower down, chin to chest. Okay, so we'll do that one more time, but I'm just gonna change directions. Since I have the wall, I'm gonna do my blocks long. This is gonna be for my back. I'm gonna put my feet on those blocks and do the same pose. If you come out early, legs at the wall is where we're going. Okay, so my toes are at the wall, fingertips towards my shoulder blades, elbows in. Curl the hips up, bridge. Arms in, press into the palms. Just press to the top of the head, pause, elbows in. And then press all the way up. Root through the palms, hug the thighs, and try to move your chest through. Couple of breaths. Wrap those outer arms in. All right, lower chin to chest gently. Come all the way down. Slide that strap off the thighs if you're there. Move your props. Very gently windshield wiper the knees. I'm actually going to roll all the way over because I want to find legs up the wall. So I'm actually going to scooch close to the wall, and then I can lie down and sweep the legs up the wall. So if you don't have a wall space, legs in the air is nice. You might have a block or a bolster or something you can put underneath you. We'll start to move into our final yin postures. We'll be here 2 minutes. Maybe close the eyes. See how you feel on these postures. When we move into those big back bends, it really gets into the heart. So you may notice your heart pumping. You may notice a little bit more heat. And so what's nice about this legs at the wall or a nice rest is it gives you the opportunity to slow down the breath, slow the heartbeat. As the eyes close, you can check in. Did you maintain compassion for your body? Something worked well for you? Did you move towards it? If it didn't work well for you, were you just as okay? About 1 minute left here. Now, in a few breaths when the timer goes off, everybody's going to be in a slightly different place. So we're moving towards some sort of split leg stretch. So some of you can just take your legs out to the side. I'm actually going to take Malasana with my feet on the wall. Or depending on what you're doing, depending on what your space is, you might do butterfly or frog. Okay, so choose one of those for you. You can stay at the wall if you'd like. Access the inner thighs, Malasana, or split leg stretch. We'll be here for 2 minutes, wherever here is for you. You can think of these yin poses as unwinding from the work we did. Most of the time, the thighs are drawing to the center line, really hugging and engaging. And so here we stretch the inner thighs. We give them an opportunity to move the opposite direction. Hands are up to you. I like to rest my arms on the inner knees just to help the weight of the legs. Hands could very easily just be by your sides as well. 5 more breaths. In these moments, it might be easy to start to wander off. Maybe step away from your mat, or your mind starts to move into dinner or the next thing on the agenda. This is really what our practice is meant for. All that dynamic movement is to help us, to encourage us to really embrace this stillness. So this is still practice, maybe just a bit more mental practice. Think mindfulness meditation. All right. Gently guide the legs together. You can keep the knees bent and then drop both of your knees to the left. And if you're at the wall, I'm just letting my feet trace the wall to the side. Move back into the twist. My knees are kind of high towards my left arm. Okay, so we'll stay, we'll do a minute just for time's sake. I want you to be in this pose a minute, but we don't have that much time, so timer will go off. We always do back bends. We always have twists rather before and after back bends, so preparing us and then winding us. You can always add weight, like a blanket, or some of you have a sandbag. All right, bring your knees to center and twist to the other side. We have just one more yin pose after this. All right, so just a minute again. Find your twist. And if it's not this twist, take a twist that works for you. Maybe add your weight. All right. Now, bring yourself back. I'm going to give you 2 options. This is kind of one of our last poses here. So if you want to use the wall, I'm just shimmying back a little bit so my feet are on the wall, knees bent, and I can cross my right ankle over my left knee. So sort of thread the needle using the wall. I'm going to roll myself up and do Sukhasana instead. So you can do that thread the needle with or without the wall. You can do single or double pigeon, whatever you'd like. I'll do a hybrid. I'm going to do Sukhasana. We'll be here 2 minutes. How did you do for your back bends? I know I was really low energy before. My body really didn't feel like moving. I really tried to keep that compassion and no expectations for my body as I practiced. And the warmer I got, the more I moved into it, I actually found once I got there, it did make sense in my body. But even if it hadn't, holding that compassion, that would have been okay too. Wherever you were today, just encourage yourself Give yourself permission to be happy exactly as you are today. That's the perfect place for you. We're here 1 more minute, about 10 breaths. Just a mental note if you're in something other than thread the needle or whatever pose you're in. Most likely your right leg is the one that's in front or on top. So we want to know that because we're going to switch here in a moment to the second side. Most of you, it's the left leg dominant. So switch to your second side of your hip opener. Same 2 minutes. I'm just going to adjust my mat for the last poses. So we're still here, timer's going. I'm just doing a little maintenance. So if you're not new to me, then you may have noticed I shifted my yoga space a little bit today. So I'd love any comments you have later, what you'd like or don't like about the new space. We're here a little less than a minute. Take your finishing poses. So I'm going to do a seated forward fold myself. You may want a happy baby if I can get it out. So just something that's neutralizing, work to a big back bend, so it's nice to do a good forward fold of some way. Some of you might do plow. So just taking a finishing pose of choice. We'll be here about 10 breaths, no timer. Go ahead and slowly find your way out. We're moving to Shavasana. So however that plays out for you, get yourself set up. I'm just going to do a makeshift bolster here with my blocks and blanket. I'll use the timer so we can relax. We know how long we're here. And I'm going to do 3 minutes. All right. So timer is going. Get yourself set up for your Shavasana in a way that feels good for you. If you have a sandbag or anything that can go on the belly, it just sort of helps the body relax. The eyes soften. Jaw unhinged. We've come full circle to where we began. Start to move fingers and toes. Arms overhead, yawn. Bend your knees, make your way to your side, eyes closed. And then slowly press yourself upright to seated. Hands to your heart in gratitude for all the work your body has done today. Lift your chest, bow your head. Namaste.